In this episode of Restore It, I'm restoring this Henry Disston Sons 24-inch saw from around 1896. I was given this saw from a friend's grandad, and he told me that his grandad said that some of these tools were his dad's, and that's why he had such an old saw in his collection. As you can see, it's quite rusty, old and tired looking, but I'd say not bad for over 110 years old. All of the brass bits have a healthy amount of green on them, which I can't wait to remove. I've already been trying for a while now, and I cannot get this handle off. I'm going to try some WD-40 to see if that helps. Like all proper men, I resorted to a hammer. So that's everything apart and ready to be restored. I'm going to start blasting the handle to remove the old varnish and anything else that shouldn't be on there. With that done, I can now see all of the wear marks that need to be sanded out. But before I do that, I'm going to blast the blade, as I'm keen to see if any of this rust has done any real damage. With both pieces now rust and dirt free, I can truly see the work that needs to be done. There is in fact a few holes in the blade, but we'll get onto that later. I'm eager to get these brass pieces shining again, so I'm going to give them a first cut on the buffing wheel and see how they go. Before I do that, I want to quickly thank Geology for sponsoring this episode and supporting Restore It. With all of this maskless welding recently and getting covered in general car filth, I'm probably going to look 50 by next year. And that's why I'm glad I found Geology when I did. One, because they agreed to do a brand deal with me when I reached out, and two, I've already been using their products for a while, ever since I heard about them on a podcast I listened to. I didn't have a skincare routine before Geology because it felt too complicated, and I generally don't trust most skincare products to be 100% safe. Geology, on the other hand, is a genuinely simple skincare routine that actually works and isn't bad for your health. And best of all, this is how simple it is. You get 2 face washes, one for the shower and one for the sink, because they know we're not going to transport that shit between those 2 locations, and they're absolutely right. Then we have the face creams, one for the morning and one for the night. That's simple. And finally an eye cream if that's your thing. That's how simple it actually is. And I thought the same thing. That's too simple. One set of creams can't work for everyone. Well, it can't and it doesn't. Not like that anyway. With Geology, you can take a short quiz which will tell them about your skin and your skin goals, and their team of dermatologists will design a regime specifically for you and your needs that is shipped directly to your door. Geology only includes ingredients that actually make a difference to your skin, and that's why their ingredients list is so short, including active ingredients like retinol, hyaluronic acid, kojic acid, and niacinamide. Their products work best as a set, so if you start with a 30-day trial of all 4 products, the Everyday Face Wash, Vital Morning Face Cream, Repairing Night Cream and the Nourishing Eye Cream, you can then continue with a 90-day supply of the products you love the most by subscribing and saving, or go a la carte and pick and choose. It's up to you. So head to geology.com and take their free skincare quiz to save up to 50% off your 30-day trial, or just click the link below. That's geology.com to save 50% off your 30-day trial. Big thanks to Geology, let's get back to the brass. So as I'm polishing this first one, I'm realising that there's so much filth on it that I'm just sort of spreading that around instead of cutting the surface. I'm going to degrease them and try again. They're not looking bad for a first run, but I couldn't get to the backs very well, so we'll come back to these later. The small holes and the pitted areas on the blade where the handle was are in need of a solution, and with all the welding I've done recently, that's the only one I could come up with. Currently, this is not very pretty, but I think it will work. Plus, all of this will be covered by the handle when it's back together again. With those ground back and the surface nice and shiny, it was time to sharpen the blade. Because this is a cross-cut style blade, I need to file every other tooth at a 65-degree angle, going in one direction, and then do the ones I missed on the first pass at an opposite 65-degree angle. With that done, and the saw feeling much sharper, I can now clean the blade of all contaminants and blue it using super blue. With every millimetre covered, I can rinse the excess off with water and dry it with the air gun. And now to lock in the bluing and add some protection, I'll let the blade soak for at least 12 hours in oil. Whilst that does its thing, I'm going to remove the wear and tear from the handle using 80 grit sandpaper and work my way up. So I found a crack in the hand grip part of the handle. I think what I'm going to do is force wood glue into the crack and leave it clamped for a few hours. Whilst that dries, I'm going to clean the backs of the brass pieces with the rotary tool. With the glue now dry and the handle feeling solid again, I'm going to get back to the sanding. After much sanding, the handle now looks like this. Almost no big dents or scratches, and much smoother overall. I'm going to stain the wood to give it its colour back before I add any protection. I let that dry overnight and now I'm ready to add boiled linseed oil to finish the handle. I placed it in a bag with some oil in it and turned it every 5 minutes for about 20 minutes just to make sure every part of the handle was covered. This right here is making me wish I glossed it, although I don't think they were like that from the factory. I can now remove any excess to finish it off. I removed most of the oil from the cloth, but left some on for that all-important protection. The last task on the agenda is the final polishing of the brass bits. Unipol metal polish is my go-to finishing polish for any metal. I absolutely love the stuff. And with that done, everything was restored and ready to go back together. I didn't end up using this mallet, it was just there to show the brass bits I meant business if they didn't eventually comply. And there we have it, the restoration's complete. Here's a quick before to remind us where we started, and here's the after. Some people might say, all of that history removed just like that. Well, I say, now we get to see this piece of history in full colour all 110 years later, just as it would have been back then. And I must say, what a lovely thing it is, a very nice saw indeed. Let's just have a quick test to make sure I sharpened it well enough. And yeah, not bad at all. I think it's got another 100 years in it at least. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I did recording it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers for now.